Good evening. Hello. I think I heard Lisa. I think I heard Margie. I know I heard Maureen. Hello, everybody. How are we doing?
Fine.
Good. So I'm leaving because it's going to snow. No, I'm being sarcastic, and it is going. I think we've got a foot and a half heading our way. And Margie, it's not that inviting. All right, guys. So welcome to tonight's Sunrider call. I'm Dr. Karen Spencer-Dees, and I am going to host tonight's call. And for a lot of you, I know you're always texting me how warm it is. It's freezing. Melina, if you're on, it's cold. It's getting chilly. School's already canceled. So I wanted to start by welcoming you. This is our weekly call. This is a call that's interactive. It's for you. It's designed so that you guys can share your own experiences with each other. And hopefully some of us that have a little bit more knowledge or years of experience or different professions can add to the mix. So for me, as most of you know, my background is in nutrition and biology, and that is where my doctorates come from. I've been using and consuming Sunrider from, my goodness, it's been over 20 years personally, raising all four of my children in private practice, and also while working at Stanford at the University Hospital with many of you that are on this call, I know, tonight. So I want to jump in first before we talk anything about the history of Sunrider or what we're going to cover tonight, and revisit a little bit from last week, because there were a few questions that came as a result. And also, I loved that someone asked to start tonight with asking, did anybody put into practice increasing any of the Sunrider foods or starting them, trying them? Have you had any experiences that you could share? And as always, I want to remind you, everything that you say benefits somebody, I promise you. Even if it's just how you're using your Sunbreeze, it can change your life. So jump in, guys. Has anyone had any experiences?
Hello, my name is Eula.
Hey, Eula.
I started doing the VitaTaste before I eat a meal, 15 minutes to a half hour ahead. And now I notice my coffee doesn't taste good because I put sugar in it. So what you're doing is you're adding the VitaTaste in, guys. For all of you who are new, she is using a product called VitaTaste, which helps to inhibit real sugar absorption. So you actually can stop, right? Cravings for sugar, reduced yeast, help you lose some weight, better eating habits. And so it's changing the way that the coffee tastes because you're not tasting the sugar in it. Is that what you do? Is that what you noticed? It just doesn't taste the same. And also my oatmeal, which I put bananas and a little bit of maple syrup, that
does not taste good either, or does?
No, it's not as good. It's just something
not as good.
And then when I realized what I was doing, I had to laugh. So.
Well, I think it's terrific because it's really retraining your taste buds, isn't it?
Yes.
That is wonderful, and that is a wonderful, wonderful example of how these foods work both internally and externally, guys. They make a difference, sometimes very quickly. Sometimes it takes some time. But as you was talking about, VitaTaste, which really you can open up the capsule and put a little bit on your tongue and have an immediate impact or effect from that. It tastes a little bit like alfalfa. And you just kind of put it on your tongue, swish it around. And then if you attempt after that to eat any kind of processed sugar, an Oreo, right, the M&Ms, you will notice that you do not taste the sugar. You will taste the other ingredients, salt, lard. It will not taste good. But I promise you, real sugar, right, that comes from naturally occurring in the fruit or from our sunny dew or sun nectar, which is the stevia rubodiana root. It's the whole herb. It's not an extract of, but the entire herb. You will notice that happens to be sweet on its own, but its job is to regulate your blood sugar. And so when you add that to the oatmeal or to the coffee, it'll enhance that sweet taste without it being sugar. So that's a wonderful extra that you might want to try. Oh, that's great. So guys, VitaTaste is perfect anyway this time of year when it comes to all of our sweets. Anybody else? Okay. So I'm going to jump in and let you know that you can mute. You can *6, which will mute you. And then you can *6 again if you want to jump on, ask a question, or speak. And that way, Mac, that way Mac can tape this for you, all right? And you can hear it without all the static. So guys, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about the benefit of using Sunrider products, good nutrition when it comes to an imbalance such as depression. And a lot of times during this time of year, especially, we call it the blues. A lot of people feel very melancholy. This is a difficult time of year for a lot of people. But more than that, it has been a trying year for everybody. And there's been a lot of, whether it's with children or it's with adults, there's been a lot of ebbs and flows in how we're feeling and our emotional well-being. And tonight, really, I wanted to focus on how to really fortify and nourish your emotional well-being. It's really important. And what we find is that when you practice a little bit of self-care, even if it's one extra step that you take with self-care, you'll notice that from an emotional, mental perspective, you start to feel a lift. A lot of you talk about noticing I have joy back. You start to feel a little bit more hopeful. More than that, guys, it's important because just as, and we will talk about this, but just as it's important that you nourish your hormones, right, as we talked about last week, so they have a balance. And a lot of you recognized and connected with the symptoms, such as hot flashes, right, or headaches that are really apparent when your hormones are out of whack. It's the same, guys, when it comes to our emotional and mental well-being. There are also, our bodies give us symptoms that reveal themselves, and there's no shame in it. This is equally as significant and important, and sometimes not talked about enough. And I'm going to bring back, if she was willing, and I will ask her, Elaine, back in January to talk about neurotransmitters and how really nourishing the brain really works. But tonight we're going to talk about a little bit about nutrition, a lot about the Sunrider foods, and how we can help ourselves and those we love right now. Okay? So Sunrider is a whole food nutritional company. They think about it in terms of if you were to go outside to your garden and you were to pick the best quality, whether it was mint, basil, carrots, right? Pick the orange off the tree and you could smell, right? You know what it smells like, the aroma. You know what it tastes like when you put it in your mouth. It's pungent or sweet. Think about Sunrider that way, that it is the best quality herbal ingredients at the peak of perfection in what we call a whole food state, meaning they're actually still in the state that they originated from. They may not look it to you, but they are still in that whole food state. The orange, although it may not look like the orange, is still in that state. The basil may not look like a leaf. It may look like it's encapsulated, but it's still in its whole food state. It's synergistically intact. And that's the brilliance of Sunrider and the brilliance of Dr. Chen. What happens when we put in this whole food nutrition versus an extract of a food, right? So if I were to take out vitamin C from the orange and give you vitamin C, I know that vitamin C is wonderful for you. but there's something missing, the rest of the ingredients it originated with. And Sunrider is all the ingredients put together. That's what synergy is. And when you put that whole food nutrition into your body, an amazing thing happens. When it's a good quality or the best quality with Sunrider, and it is in the right combination of other foods, the body does something miraculous. It's called regeneration. And when we have regeneration, our bodies can repair themselves. They can renew themselves, and they can regenerate or to make new, right? To reverse the clock, make young again. Take something that is not feeling so great in our bodies and actually nourish it and allow it to start to recover and begin to renew itself. The second component that is equally as important with this amazing food in the right variety, it's that it's concentrated. And that's really hard to do, and that is really specialized. And I have yet to see it in any other company. What they have done with Sunrider is Dr. Chen have been able to take that food, we'll use the orange as an example, that one orange, and pick it at the peak of perfection, but not just pick it, guys, but to be, think about this for a minute. They are in charge of it from the ground up. So the moment, right? Think of it, the moment the tree is planted, the moment the orange, right, is picked. Think of Sunrider being on top of everything for you. The moment that orange is picked at the peak of perfection, so it gives you the best nutrition, they then have found a way, while keeping the nutrients synergistically intact, to take 7 to 10 pounds of that raw ingredient, such as the orange. Think about taking 10 oranges. You could never eat 10 oranges at one sitting. Your stomach would hurt, right? I might need you to get that nutrition, but you could never consume it. And they've been able, think about this, to take all of that nutrition from 10 oranges and spray dry that onto one orange. And all you have to do is eat that one orange. And you get all the nutrition of 10. That's why this is a spectacular company. And that's the brilliance, again, of Dr. Chen. And that is what makes them so unique and different or special. So every, and I mean every ingredient in every one of your products, whether you're putting them on your skin, or you're consuming them, or even you're washing your fruits and vegetables in them, they have been concentrated that way to give you the benefit of regeneration. And I have to say that I believe that's why all of you have either very quick results or you have spectacular, and I mean spectacular testimonies on what your bodies have done. And I will always say that your body is truly the miracle. But we have to put the quality of food in it, right? If we don't eat, if we don't get that water, if we do not get that quality of food, we don't have anything to exist on. And we need to exist on more than we're able to consume. And that's what Sunrider has done for you. So be grateful. Please, it's so spectacular. Oh my gosh. All right. So tonight, guys, I'm going to take you a little bit from a back door when it comes to talking about how we nourish our bodies when it comes to depression. And there's a product that I have a feeling you can all attempt to guess, but I don't think you're going to, that I'm going to start with, and then I'll go to the ones I think all of you assume I'm going to talk about. But the one I'm going to start with, guys, has benefits when it comes to depression that a lot of you don't know. And you ask me about this all the time, so I want to start here, and that's spirulina. And spirulina, guys, is one of Sunrider's single herbs. And again, one of those herbs a lot of times we don't talk about. Spirulina looks like algae, and that's really what it is. It's blue-green algae. What spirulina does, and there's wonderful articles, and I'm going to quote some research here. Spirulina is a natural probiotic. It's also a protein, guys, that can help fight depression. Spirulina is a living organism. Think of it like seaweed in the ocean. It's a living organism that can enhance your own good bacteria to help improve your digestion and absorption of essential vitamins and minerals, and can elevate your mood, and can also fight depression. But here's what I found interesting. This was from 2018, and this was an amazing article from a wonderful nutritional resource, and I will share it with you if you want it later on. But this states, is spirulina good for mood disorders? This was the article. A 2018 paper highlights the potential role that spirulina could play, and eventually they proved it, in treating mood disorders and depression. The theory played out is that spirulina is a source of tryptophan. Now, a lot of you know what that is, but some of you don't. But tryptophan is an amino acid, and that amino acid supports your serotonin production. You have to have it. And serotonin, when it is decreased, creates an imbalance in your mental health. And so what happens, and a lot of you hear a lot about serotonin, and we talk a lot about mood elevators and mood lifters. How do you get your serotonin back up? One of the ways to get the serotonin back up is to use and consume spirulina every day. And so what happens when we eat spirulina from Sunrider is we are actually not just feeding good bacteria or giving our bodies protein, but we're actually feeding our brain. And we're actually helping to elevate the serotonin levels. When you elevate them, guys, you will notice that the depression starts to lift. You start to feel, for a lot of you, you feel like you're in a dark hole, right? You share this with me all the time. You're in a black hole. You just want someone to send that ladder down and help you come up. I want you to know step one, outside of NBC, is to add spirulina. You will notice within about 10 to 15 minutes of consuming 3 spirulina, that lift begins. I like to call this a superfood. And what Sunrider writes, and this is directly from their product fact sheet, is that spirulina is a protein, it's an algae, and it's a superfood. And Sunrider states that with more protein per weight than chicken, soy, or beef, this is a good source of iron, omega-3 fatty acids, which are critical to your brain, calcium, niacin, and all of your amino acids. What happens when you consume spirulina, 2 things I really want to point out. One is not only are you elevating that serotonin, but you're giving your body a whole host of the amino acids. And those amino acids help regulate your brain. You'll start to think clearer. You'll start to focus. You'll start to notice you feel better. And for those of you, even with children, this is a wonderful product to add in every single day, especially with so much depression and so many low moods. And I do understand that. Sunrider also writes, and I just want to share a little bit more about spirulina as a whole, because it is a protein, guys, and what protein does is it's a building block. It rebuilds things like your nails, right? Your hair, especially for those of you that have hair falling out, your bones, your muscles, and I want you to think of your brain that way. It starts to rebuild and retrain. But think about when your nails are peeling. I want to give you a visual. Or they're splitting, or they're breaking, and you wonder, what am I deficient in? That's the perfect time, guys, to understand the same thing that's happening to your nails is happening to your brain. And for those of you who are looking also to really prevent a lot of degenerative brain disorders, add the good source of protein that has all your amino acids, such as spirulina in. There's a lot of research to support that spirulina is one of the preventatives for things like Alzheimer's. And I know a lot of you don't know that. So I'd love for you to take a look at spirulina. Sunrise also states that this blue-green algae has been harvested from salty lakes in Latin America and Africa for hundreds of years, and it's one of the oldest life forms on Earth. This is something that a lot of you have never used, and if you have used it, you've used it sporadically. So let's just kind of revisit this for a minute. Spirulina, Sunrider states, the original superfood, right? Provides various vitamins, minerals, amino acids. Not only does it build stamina and the immune system, but also lifts depression and helps feed the brain. Another, I think, really important piece here is under the facts and questions. I always like you to read this. Why is the Sunrider brand of spirulina better than other brands? Sunrider's owners are experts, remember that, in the fields of health and science. That is the key for all of this. They have the expertise. That's really important to understand that the majority of companies out there do not have the expertise. More than that, they are, as Sunrider states, they are in charge of the results, but they're also in charge of the growing. And so whether it's the growing of a product, the manufacturing, right, the harvesting, the shipping, they're in charge from the ground up. I trust them for that. So I want you guys to remember that a lot of deficiencies when it comes to low mood, first and foremost, we notice them in the brain. We notice them as a lack of joy. We notice them as a lethargy, right? Apathy, low moods. A lot of times we need protein at that moment to help elevate. One of the best sources of this type of protein is spirulina. Okay? We have a wonderful protein powder, and it is wonderful, and it definitely will elevate your mood, but I'm talking very strategically and specifically. So everyone can Google spirulina, okay? Second to that, I want to visit a product that, again, doesn't get a lot of attention, but when it comes to our brain health, we have to always look at deficiency. We always have to ask the question first, not just, can I regenerate? Because you can. But what am I deficient in? Or what is my child deficient in? Right? What is my parent deficient in? What kind of medications are they using, right? Because think of what creates deficiencies for people. Over medication, a lot of people have to. Sometimes it's environmental. Most of the time it's stress. Sometimes it's poor eating habits. Whatever it may be, deficiency, first and foremost, we notice it when it comes to the brain immediately. Because if you don't have the right nutrition, you will notice immediately you can't focus. You can't concentrate, right? So, Metabalance 44. We're going to start with spirulina. What I'm doing from a back door, guys, is I'm putting in all the missing ingredients that a lot of you lack, not just to treat the symptom, but to rebuild your system. Do you understand that? Hi, Teresa. So, Metabalance 44, here we go. Balance your nutrition by taking Metabalance 44 every day. Sunrider spent 10 years creating Metabalance 44. This is the right combination of minerals and vitamins in their whole food state to help fill in every nutritional deficiency. And guys, we don't give enough attention to the deficiencies we have in our brains. Our emotional health suffers, our mental health suffers, our spiritual health suffers. We suffer. We give more attention to our stomach ache or to bloat or to weight than we do to our mental health. So the reason I'm coming from a back door and telling you spirulina, Metabalance 44, and I'm going to add Vita Spray is because I want you to fill every possible deficiency of a micro or a macronutrient, because I promise you, within a week, you'll be shocked that you feel better. and you'll be very grateful that those you love begin to feel better. All of us at different times need a little extra help. And I know the question you all ask is, if I'm using and consuming NBC, right? Nourish, Balance, Cleanse, all the foods with Sunrider, why do I need spirulina, MetaBalance, VitaSpray? Because guys, here's the difference. When we use and consume New Plus and VitaShake and Quinery, and we drink our Calcium Fortune every day, these are foods that are going to give us longevity. They're going to begin the regenerative process from that day forth. Some of that may take a week, a day, a year, 10 years. Ultimately, we will regenerate. But in the short term, I always like to tell my children, if it's raining and you go outside without a raincoat or an umbrella, you will get wet. It's just the way it is. It's the same if you don't have enough of that nutrition at different times. If you have some deficiencies and you notice some symptoms, guys, add the MetaBalance, add the VitaSpray, add the spirulina. They are your day-to-day raincoat while you are regenerating and getting this amazing quality of life and recovery. And Sunrider went to great lengths to put these three products together. I happen to think these products make all the difference in our brain health. Sunrider writes under MetaBalance 44 that this is a combination of 44 nutrients that are designed to work hand in hand with each other to fill in every single one of your deficiencies immediately. So you never have to ask, do I need more A? Do I need more C? Do I need more B? What am I deficient in? It's always taken care of. Some of the amazing whole foods that are in there, which I'm so grateful for, are something as simple, guys, as bee pollen. Bee pollen is considered one of nature's most completely nourishing foods. Bee pollen contains vitamins, minerals, carbohydrates, good lipids, and protein. The range of nutrients makes it a great natural energizer. That's one of 44 ingredients in here. And every single day, I've been raising my own 4 kids on MetaBalance 44. I don't know every single day what everyone's going through, but I know everyone's emotionally and mentally exhausted. There's a lot that's going on, right? I know we're still in remote learning. They're exhausted. For each one of us, we don't even have to have daily struggles. But I promise you, if you want your brain health, just as you want, right? Think of it like this, just as you want your bones to last you, right? And you want them not to be porous, but to stay strong for the rest of your life. So should you want that for your brain. You should want your mental and emotional health to be as important to you as the health of your bones. MetaBalance 44, along with the extra protein and spirulina, will provide that. Now let's go directly to VitaSpray. VitaSpray, guys, I think is essential to everybody when it comes to depression every single day. But for those specifically who really are struggling, this is very important. And I'm going to start here. So what Sunrider writes is that up your energy and your mental focus with this powerful spray. And with VitaSpray, guys, remember, you spray under your tongue. It's sublingual. It's very unique. We cannot find this in other places. It gets absorbed directly into your bloodstream. It goes exactly where it's supposed to go instantly. You will have a mood lift because this is 100%, probably 200%. I mean, look, 200%, yep, of B12. B12 we've talked about before, right? It's your coping vitamin, but this is still in its whole food state. But for those that struggle with feeling low and feeling depressed and feeling, I would say, emotionally challenged right now, this is really important. And what I love about VitaSpray is you can use it as often as you need to. And you can really, I think for those of you that have children at home, really find that this lifts in between the day, whether kids are in class or kids are crying. But if you yourself find that your emotions are extreming, right? Think about this. You're crying a lot. You feel down. You don't feel motivated. I promise you, your B12 has bottomed. And you need a good source from a whole food source to help you build that back up. A lot of times, you all will ask about different capsules that have B12 in them from other companies. Guys, what happens when we swallow a lot of these tablets is that the acid in our stomachs destroys the B vitamins before they actually can become useful, which is why this is sublingual, under the tongue. When you realize the brilliance of that, you will realize how significant this product is. And so on the challenging days for everybody, VitaSpray works within minutes. But for those of you that truly are having a rough time, 3 to 4 times a day is fine. And if you have not really maximized using VitaSpray, start. Start now. You'll feel better almost immediately. For those of you who have not yet truly used MetaBalance 44 to fill in all the nutritional deficiencies that the brain is really letting you know exist right now, poor focus, low energy, low mood, feeling down, start. You can do this a couple times a day. For those of you that want a building block, right, that helps lift your serotonin, spirulina. My opinion, these 3 would be a great holiday gift. I would have liked them. But this is a wonderful combination. Somebody email my family. Okay, now let's go to the ones you all assume I'm going to cover. Top joint knees. Okay? These do work, and these are wonderful. These are wonderful. And I want to remind everybody that top joint ease and top focus are regenerative, which means, remember guys, these are not just treating a symptom, but they're building the system. And I'm going to start with ease. E-S-E. Guys, get right onto the website, hit product fact sheet right under the picture, and you will be able to follow along. Sunrider states ease, our relaxing ease formula, naturally, that's my favorite word, naturally soothes anxiety, stress, and even sleeplessness. So you can feel calm, rested, rejuvenated. Really important to understand, guys, that a lot of products on the market, they can relax you. It's just hard to wake up. What Sunrider has done in their brilliance is found a way to create a formula that feeds the central nervous system and rejuvenates you so you feel a lift, not just a calm. Can you imagine that balance of calm and lifted? That's what happens when you feed the central nervous system. Sunrider states that not only does it rejuvenate and allow you to feel your best, but it also helps alleviate tension, muscle spasms, and even congestion, which I always found fascinating. But anyone who's ever been inflamed, right, knows that when you relax, inflammation goes down. And again, for those of you that have struggled with depression, and you know what it feels like to be in a constant state of worry, or sadness, or low, right, or anxiety, what I'm asking you to do is not just treat this with the ease, but to feed that system, that central nervous system, and start to rebuild it. You will notice that you can eat this kind of like you would, cherries. You don't have to worry about overeating ease. It's a food combination. It's like salad. It's different than if you were to go to the health food store and purchase a medicinal product
for your central nervous system. You could not overeat that, right? That's no different than medication. You have to be very careful with that. But what this is a whole food product. So you can consume this as much as you want and need to, whether it's before bed, upon waking, 3 to 4 times a day. Sunrider states this is non-habit forming and won't cause drowsiness. It relaxes you to the point that you can absolutely balance that extreme of lowness, of depression. And I want you to think for a minute. If I were to tell you you could feed, right? Feed your body and that central nervous system, that all those nerves that send signals from the brain to the body that say inflame, pain, right? Grief, sadness, worry, anxiety. And instead, the message were calm, relax, uplift. Wouldn't that be worth trying? And I promise you, I have been using these with my children since they were at school. And so this is, again, a wonderful product. I love what Sunrider writes at the bottom here. It says, can anyone benefit from ease? Sunrider states yes. This naturally powerful formula is ideal for anyone who wants to improve their mental, right? Mental clarity, cognitive function, and your performance while managing stress, whether it's at work, at school, or in everyday life. And you will find that for those of you that start to eat the ease and consume enough of it, not just before bed, but during the day, your decision making is better. I heard my own accent, my Bostonian accent. Your decision making is better. You will notice that your mood is better. You'll notice your tolerance, your patience, even your perseverance improves. But most importantly, the depression will start to lift. And that is the whole reason why we're on this call tonight. The second is a product that's called Joy, J-O-I. And joy, think of it as a symbol for joint. Okay? So what joy is doing is similar to what ease is doing, but it's doing it for the musculoskeletal system. Depression happens a lot of times, not just because we have anxiety or we've had depression or our serotonin is low, but sometimes it happens because we're in pain or we have a chronic situation in our bodies or we've had trauma in our bodies. And that mind-body connection is very important and needs to be equally nourished. And Sunrider states that the mind-body connection is powerful. Studies have shown that our emotional and mental states can and will directly affect our physical state. Low mood and distress can adversely affect your body. Now think about that for a minute. How does it adversely affect your body? You have fatigue, you have tension, right? Think about anyone who's had long-term pain or challenges in your life, and you'll say, my body hurts. How many times do I hear that a week? My body hurts. My head hurts. It just hurts. Well, that is both an emotional, mental, and a physical, right? Those are all real. And if we do not nourish that system equally, then that mind-body connection is imbalanced. And as we've talked about with quinary, where feeding only one system doesn't really work because we have a multitude of systems. We have 5 major systems. If you only feed one, then the other 4 are going to try and rob it of its nutrients. It's the same with your mind. If we're only feeding one component, then everything else is going to rob that of those nutrients. We cannot just feed the nervous, right?
cannot just feed the nervousness or the anxiety. We also have to feed the body. What happens to the body? Guys, it becomes inflamed. You're in pain. When you've had a lot of distress, depression, long-term chronic concerns, you will notice that the body hurts. And those are your words. I hurt. So what do? We nourish it. And that's where joy comes in. And this will also help to lift the depression. So what joy does is I love this. Joy will help you turn your physical tension, the physical pain. It'll help lift it, elevate it, improve it, and it'll turn it into joy. You'll notice that muscle tension decreases, physical pain decreases. You'll notice for a lot of you, I always found this fascinating. When we're depressed, a lot of times we'll have headaches, right? Your mood is low. A lot of you get upset stomachs, nauseous. There's a lot of symptoms that go along with this. The interesting component here is because joy feeds the musculoskeletal system. Think about your head for a minute, right? Is it just the brain inside it? Is there not muscle? Is there not bone, right? Is there not a skull? You have to feed the whole. That joy feeds this skull. I always say it houses, right? It's very important that you feed the whole, not just the part. So we've got nerves, muscle, bone. We have all sorts of components to us that need nourishment if we want this depression to lift. It's not just as straightforward as I'll take a pill and hope it goes away. Joy feeds joints, muscle, tissue, regenerates musculoskeletal, ease, nerves, worry, sadness, brain lethargy, anxiety, feeds the central nervous system, nerves, muscle, bone, tissue. Now we've got what we call top. Top equally as important, and this is not top focus. I'm really emphasizing right now top. Top is important. So top will help you to promote clarity. Now, you're all going to ask me about top focus or top. Both work, okay? You can choose what you like. But this is, right now, I'm on the product fact sheet just for top. And what Sunrider writes is that our nutrient-rich formula helps to support, think about this, focus, memory, alertness. I think that's a really important word when it comes to depression. And that lethargy is to find yourself alert again, to find yourself wanting to get up, wanting to participate in life again. What happens with top is it calms the mind, but it also helps to keep you energized and alert. I think that the one ingredient that I thoroughly appreciate in top is what they call angelica root. And this has been used for centuries in Chinese medicine. But again, this is a food-grade form of it. And what angelica root is used for is to treat headaches, relieve stress, and support circulation. A lot of times when we have depression, we have headaches, or reverse, vice versa. But for a lot of you, you have eye irritation. You have pressure in your head. You have pressure behind your eyes. You have pressure behind your ears. You have pressure in your neck. It's very important to recognize that when lifting depression, we have to nourish the entire being from head to toe, right? Top feeds the brain. Really important, but I want to segue to top focus because I think this is new and this is important and this makes a big difference. Top focus has a lot of interesting science behind it, but I think when it comes to depression, this is very unique because what top focus has done is they've taken a collection of herbs that have a lot of research behind them that stimulate the circulation of the brain.
and they help to relax it, but they also help to strengthen it. One of the interesting components about Top Focus is that it boosts. It doesn't just feed it, but it's very similar. I guess I want to use this kind of like I would Metabalance, Vitaspray, and Spirulina. Top Focus is very quick. So whereas Ease, Joy, and Top may take a little time, ultimately they're going to regenerate so that the depression will lift. And the depression will lift mind, body, and spirit. We're not always depressed, right, from one area. But when it comes to something fast, where we've noticed that there is definitely a quick lift, it's with Top Focus. And so I'm just going to read this to you. I think this is important, and then you guys can print this off. But our new brain-boosting formula helps support focus, memory, and mental speed. It's fortified with powerful ginkgo biloba, Chinese club moss. This nourishing complex of herbal extracts, minerals, amino acids, and vitamins supports cognitive function. But here's the key, while fueling multiple neural pathways. So this is ideal for everybody, whether or not you are studying, whether or not you're home, whether or not you're busy or you're not busy. It doesn't matter. What this helps to do is to balance all the pathways, all the signals that are going from your brain, right, to the rest of your being. Sunwriter states that not only does it help to lift, but it also helps to calm that, to give you that calm alertness we were talking about. And it helps within about 15 minutes. So for those of you who wake up, and I'm bringing this up because a few of you have texted me in the past 5 minutes this question. A lot of you wake up, or you have children, or you know someone that wakes up every day feeling down, or they have felt this way for a long time, or they have a different kind of sadness, maybe loss, maybe grief, but the depression is very real and daily, and that this works very quickly. This is a great product with Vitaspray. Both are fast acting, and both will lift that person very quickly. You will notice within about 15 minutes, you feel sharper, you feel awake, alert, capable, confident. The other thing in here is for a lot of you who have been chronic with your depression, you haven't known for some time what it really feels like to be focused or alert or to have that mental energy. This combination of Top Focus with Vitaspray does that. And it works, I would say, every time, every day, all the time. One of the interesting ingredients in the Top Focus is this ginkgo biloba. And for all of you who have researched it, you can look up depression, mental disorders, any kind of, I know because I minored in this, so I have a little expertise when it comes to ADD, ADHD, etc. You will find that this is common for a lot of people, but they just never get the right combination of nutrition to calm down, to balance, and to kind of rewire the brain. This is a rewiring. And when I look at all the books, and I have read a lot, just like a lot of you, on brain health, on mental health, on what can we do to rewire ourselves. The classic example and ingredient is always ginkgo biloba. And one of the interesting factors in it that Sunwriter writes is this plant has been known for its strong antioxidant effects, which may include the neuro, meaning think of the neuro as your brain pathways, neuroprotective benefits. It's protecting. Think of it as the nerve. I want to give you an easy way to remember this. But think about what it feels like to be wired inside your brain, where you feel like you've been plugged in, right, to an electrical socket, and everything just feels overstimulated. Or the reverse, you feel numb. This balances that, and it protects it. And for those of you that emailed me 30 seconds ago about having neuropathy, I want to share that, and a lot of you have struggled with depression since having shingles or some version of neuropathy that has worn you down. These are the same products for neuropathy. Same products. And so we want to always look at how do we repair and feed the body so it can regenerate and we don't have for the rest of our lives the same extreme. At the same time, I want to make sure that you know that the short-term benefit also, so you have some immediate effects also. So think about long-term top, joy, and ease, NBC, daily nutrition for mind, body, spirit, and all of your systems. But what do I do every day, short-term, that helps me with all the little deficiencies I have that are playing havoc with my brain, but also I want to protect it, right, from long-term consequences. And what do I do if I'm waking up or I'm having struggle all day with neuropathy or depression or my moods are low or I have kids that are struggling? I want to remind you, combination, right? Metabalance, Vita Spray, Spirulina, immediately fills up every possible nutritional gap, plus the extra protein every day. And then Top Focus, combined with the Vita Spray for quick improvement, right? For your mind and for your emotions and for your spirit. It's very important that I think we understand, as one of you just asked me, and I'm going to conclude it here, that we will have more conversation on, I know a lot of you like to discuss it, on what it's like to experience depression. And for those of you that are willing to share, I hope you will, and some of the benefits you're getting from this. But I want to remind you that everybody, guys, is struggling. And everybody needs to remember, one, a little self-care goes a long way. A lot of love goes a long way, but a little love goes a long way too. And it has to start first with loving your brain, which does not get a whole lot of love and attention. We ask a lot of it, and we do not feed it enough of what it needs to function the way we're asking it to function. And so it is exhausted and depleted and deficient. This is where we all can do a little bit better with some of these products and improve the health, right, of our brain so that it lasts with us the rest of our lives optimally, just like we want our bodies to. Okay, questions, comments, your experiences, go for it.
Karen, it's Maureen.
Hi.
I'm so grateful, and I'm sure everybody on this call is just so grateful for this information, so grateful for you. I have two things that I really want to bring to light, and that is Spirulina, Metabalance, the Vita Spray, Top Joy and Ease. All those were my go-tos during beginning of grief and as grief continues. And if I didn't feed and nourish my body, my brain, I don't know where I would have gone. And I think we all either know somebody or personally or experience grief with COVID, with life. And I can't even say how grateful I am to the Chens, to Sunrider, to you for bringing this to light so we can discuss it. The other thing that I want to bring to light is Spirulina is high in phosphorus, so it's amazing for your teeth. The other thing is, and the other thing is they're doing studies now on periodontal disease, and they're finding such positive with spirulina as an anti-inflammatory and an antioxidant activity for the gum. So we have wonderful opportunities here. We have wonderful foods to nourish our body and our brain. We are just so fortunate. Go forward. Show everybody and tell everybody. Thank you.
Oh, honey, thank you for sharing that. And as my oral health expert, we all need to use spirulina.
Yeah. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to share before we finish?
I have one thing to say about spirulina.
Yeah.
And I also appreciate, I can't thank you enough for what you do and appreciate what Maureen said. But I had some, about a half a bottle of spirulina sitting here, and I thought, this is not doing any good just sitting there. So I decided, and I looked at what the recommendation was on there, and it said 3 times a day with meals. So I thought, well, I'm going to do that because I've never taken that much before. And I wasn't really looking for anything special, but I just noticed yesterday that I thought, I'm really kind of getting things, like my thoughts are more organized now. And I'm just thinking, like I'm having not that I was really having a difficult time or anything, but I could just tell the difference in the way I was thinking. And I said, no, you said this. And I thought, well, maybe that's what it is.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And I have to be honest, everybody would benefit from taking it off the shelf and actually eating it, right? How many times do we have things sitting in the cabinet? They're not nourishing you, every time you walk by, staring at them. You have to take them, open it, and consume them. And I would challenge you to do a little bit more, like 3 times a day, and see how you feel. I love that you did that. That's wonderful. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
My name is Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Hello. I think it's wonderful that we have all these amazing foods from Sunrider, and being able to consume them all day long. My question is can anyone give suggestions on, I know to read the label, you mentioned that last time, but how to spread out the foods through the day, or how do you eat them? Do you take like a container and put 2 of spirulina in, 2 of Metabalance, 2 of something, so you make sure that you're eating the proper food?
So, excellent question. Would anyone like to?
I don't know what people do. If they, if you just have the bottles there and you pour it out and you remember, how do you remember what to take and what to eat? Excuse me.
I'll
go for it.
Sure, go for it.
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways. When I travel, I actually dump the bottle into a baggie and travel with it that way. Daily, I have a little container that a little cup actually that I put everything into, morning and afternoon and evening. And then there are just so many ways you can put it in any container that you like. But it is a wonderful idea to set yourself up in the morning, make your Cali, make your Fortune Delight, have your drink. Richard has said this many times. And just get yourself in that mental place that I am doing self-care, I am loving myself, and this is a process every single day that we can do, and we do for ourselves and others. Great question.
Yeah. So I divide it, and I'm going to finish here, and then, but anyone who has some suggestions, I will absolutely share them to answer this next time. But I definitely divide. I divide and conquer. I'm very organized that way, so that since COVID, we've been here, at the house a lot. So it's at the table. Everyone's got their own little dishes, or I have, days of the week. Everything's already put in there. morning, noon, night. So I know what I'm taking and how often I'm doing it. It becomes kind of a, just a normal habit. I think that it's no different than, meal prep at the beginning of a week. For those of you that may not meal prep and kind of just wing it day to day, I would put it, I would remind yourself to put it, on the table, leave it out so you can see it. But I think it's important because it gets very easy to forget or to miss doing it. And for those that I use at night, I won't lie, I put them right in the bathroom. They're right by my sink with my toothbrush. So whether it's my Beauty Pearl or Bella, whatever it may be, the ease, it's in my bathroom.
Okay.
Okay, so you got to kind of get creative with your own life.
I have like a turntable thing that I can put all the bottles on and then just fill the containers.
There you go.
Know that I've done it. So, okay.
There you go. I think it becomes, Comedy Central a little bit with all of them, with all the products, right? And so you kind of have to laugh along and then share what worked for the rest of us, right?
What do you do it different? Well, I'm asking real quick what you do at night.
Before bed, you mean, or?
Yeah. What foods do you eat at night?
So, I'll just share, this simply for me. For me, I like doing top joinees before I go to sleep, and I do a Bella. I find that kind of regeneration helps me personally. I also use the Simply Herbs, and I put a little warm Cali with my Simply Herbs, and I drink that, believe it or not, before bed. Not a whole cup, but a little bit. It relaxes my body, and I go right to sleep. I find that, it's important to remember, guys, we regenerate the most when we sleep. And so sometimes we're the most efficient when we sleep. So getting a little extra nutrition before I sleep is what I do, okay? You're welcome. All right, guys, so for all of you jumping off, Donna and Bob's call is right now. If you would like to participate, go to the Rising Stars page. You'll see the Zoom, and you'll also see the phone number to call in. This is support for everyone building businesses or wanting some inspiration or the how to grow this. All right, everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and I will speak with you next time. Good night.